time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And I've missed you guys. Okay, guys, we are back to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, well, the recap and what exactly was going on. You know, I called this in my community tab a series of unfortunate events because that's exactly what I felt like this was. But it was an interesting episode. I'm not going to lie. I was totally expecting Mike and Natalie to finally get married this episode, as we know that they did get their marriage license. They obtained it. And we know that Natalie's living in Seattle on her own without Mike at this point. Honestly, with the way that he was treating her, well, we'll jump into it. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. Make sure we get some more eyes in the room. I'm going to start dropping the link here in a few minutes. That way you guys can start joining me if you'd like, because I don't just do this to talk to myself. And yeah, I want to just show appreciation for a few people in the room. Gene Mastrangelo, Adam, you're having a live chat at the same time as the trial is on for George Floyd. I have a dilemma. Gene, don't feel like you have a dilemma. You can always catch the recap. Judy, good morning from Vegas. Kimberly, good morning from Espanola on Canada. Ooh, I like that. Magda, good afternoon from Paris. Kempire, good morning from New York City. Wow, guys. Hi. All right. So, guys, I think we should start with, I don't even know. Let's start with Brandon and Julia. So Brandon and Julia, whose actual name is Yulia, I didn't even know until this episode. They're trying to figure out whether or not they should get married at this point. You know, we watched where Brandon, he's trying to do the right thing, I guess. He's trying to figure out after 90 days, is this what I want? And they got into a fight a few nights before. It's actually quite opposite of what happened with Mike and Natalie, because they were celebrating a few nights before he called off the whole wedding. But anyways, we'll stay with Brandon and Yulia. Brandon and Yulia are sitting there talking, and she's just letting him know, hey, listen, just because we're married doesn't mean in the future we can't get a divorce. Now, he wants to know, are you threatening me? And she's like, no, I'm not threatening you, but I'm letting you know, if you don't treat me like a wife, you don't tell me the sweet nothings, tell me you love me, get me flowers, just give your time to me as a wife, then I don't have to stick around. I love that. To be fair, I know that everyone who enters into a marriage, they know, or they're expecting, hey, listen, we want to stay together forever, or else why get married? Unless it's for a green card, but I'm not saying that. But why else get married? And she's letting him know, yes, I want to be with you forever, but I don't need to be if you're not going to treat me right. What I do want to say, though, is that Brandon's parents have come they've done a 180. I want to say full circle, but full circle would mean they started off where they ended off where they started off, right? So they've done sort of a 180. Brandon's parents are now supporting the marriage, and we get to see a little bit of a more emotional side to his mom and his dad. And they're just letting us know, hey, for the longest time, it was the three of us. We were a little unit. We were a family. And now I know that it's time to let my 27-year-old baby boy grow up. Well, it's not exactly the wedding that they were looking for. And I have to say, Yulia's choice in a wedding dress and the boots, the whole setup was obviously not what she wanted, but they pulled it together. And at the end of the day, the most important part was that they did tie the knot. Now that they tied the knot, who knows what's going to be coming up for Brandon and Yulia. But what we do know is that the parents have been, sparked so much interest in the TLC community, because people think that they're a little woohoo, that Brandon and Yulia will be back on our screens, whether it's Discovery Plus or a future version of TLC, maybe even TLC's 90 Day Happily Ever After. They will be back. We just don't know in what capacity. Again, watching this wedding, it was cute. And there were a few things that were cute about it. One, Yulia wanted to have them write each other's vows in their own languages. So she made Brandon write his vows down in her language, in Russian, and she wrote hers down in English. That meant a lot to her. And there's just a few things that you can tell she gets a little bit giddy about, and that makes it cute. You can tell that she really loves this man, but at the end of the day, she just wants to make sure that she's heard. She wants to be respected as a wife, and she wants to make sure that this is the right decision, especially after a quick 90 days that just seems like it flies by. I mean, it seems like it flies by for us watching the episodes, but imagine what 90 days for them would be like. I could never, ever be engaged and then get married in 90 days. What I did want to say was cute, though, was the fact that not only Yulia having her parents on FaceTime watching the ceremony, her mom's crying, Brandon's mom's crying. And again, it's not exactly the wedding that they were looking for, but it was what was permitted in a global pandemic. The only one part that was being questioned by fans was, how are you going to have Pops there? Pops is obviously in the demographic of people who would be more susceptible to getting coronavirus, and he still showed up. He's still there. It's an empty church, but Pops made it. People were wondering, why did no one have a mask on? Again, I can't answer those questions. However, what I would assume is that production did their job. They did their due diligence, and they made sure everybody was tested, especially with those little thermometer guns that are super invasive right in your face, making sure that everyone was safe for the wedding. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, and let's get some more eyes in the room. I'm dropping the link now in case you guys want to call. I want to see what some of you guys are saying. I'm still laughing at the pronunciation. Kempire, I don't need Brandon and Yulia back, honestly, LOL. Hi, Adam. Sorry I'm late. Nope, you're just in time. And hello, everyone. I'm going to listen while I cook. Well, by all means, listen while you cook. I'm excited just to have you guys in the room. I want to move forward to the next couple because this is who I made the thumbnail about. And this couple was seriously pissing me off, Mike and Natalie. Mike treated Natalie like absolute garbage at the end. And you know, I know that for a while we're watching them kind of navigate their 90 days, she's trying to get him to eat healthier. She's calling him low class. She doesn't like the way he lives. She kicked out Uncle Bo. You know, she's trying to get him to make all these sacrifices. And he's like, why are you trying to change me? However, we have to remember she changed a lot in order to be here. She moved from the Ukraine and left everything she knows. It's not anything that she's used to, and she's trying to adjust. I think she's doing a great job in doing so, just maybe a little bit less nagging. I think that's the Ukrainian, though. I think she's just very straightforward, and it just is what it is. Anyways, I want to get back into it. Natalie obviously couldn't get inside of the hotel with Tamara, who is the neighbor, because she had Mike's credit card. Now, anybody who has any common sense knows that you can't just show up at a hotel with somebody else's credit card without their identification or that person being there. So I don't know why the neighbor didn't know or if this was just for a storyline. However, if it was, Natalie's a great actress. A lot of you guys have said to me in the comments before that that's exactly what Natalie is. Watch her cooking show, watch or look at her credentials, and she is an actress. But guys, this seems a little rough. I mean, the tears coming out of her face, she was obviously feeling really defeated in this moment. But she came back. She had no other choice. She couldn't stay at the neighbor's house because the neighbor had a full house. So she had to go back to Mike's house. Now, in doing so, Mike apologized, sort of, and he let her know, listen, it hurt me really bad to send you away yesterday. I felt like shit, really, is what he was trying to say. But I still don't know what I want to do. I want to apologize to you, but I don't know where we stand. What the hell do you mean you don't know where we stand? This is less than 24 hours away, and you're going to keep this woman in limbo, and then he's trying to keep her illegally in the United States, trying to get her to cross over her time in which she's allotted in order to stay in the United States legally, which in fact would make her a criminal. If she stays over the 90 days, which he's trying to push her to do to give him more time in order to make the right decision, then she is no longer legal here, and that can present a lot of problems. We saw Andrew and Amira was held in a detention center in Mexico. Now, I don't exactly know what the repercussions would be if Natalie went after the 90 days to the airport. I don't know how immigration would treat her, but it doesn't seem like it would be in her favor. They would either stick her on a plane, stick her in some sort of detention center, hold her for some amount of time, but then that would feel like jail. And that's just not fair to this woman. She thought she was getting married. Again, they had a celebration. They let off fireworks. They enjoyed themselves right before finding out 2 hours before the wedding that he's calling it off. So how do they move forward? Well, they ended up calling a lawyer. That's exactly what Mike said that he needed in order to feel good about moving forward in this situation. And she said, okay, fine, I agree. So they FaceTime this lawyer and they're asking, what can we do? What can't we do? And the lawyer kind of made the most sense out of everyone. She's like, listen, with all of the personal issues that you both are going through and knowing how expensive the rest of this process can be, you guys have a lot to work out over the next 24 hours. But I wouldn't recommend that you go over that. I would recommend that you either, one, Natalie, get back on a plane and go to the Ukraine, or 2, get married. Now she's trying to walk around the house and have these tough conversations, and he's just being a brat, being a punk. I don't know how else to say it. He's giving her this attitude like, okay, yell at me, Natalie. What do you want this woman to do? She's trying to figure it out. And at this point, it seems like she just wants the love and acceptance, and to know you want to marry her. Now, of course, everyone has their own problems, even couples who don't navigate the 90-day visa. You have problems when you enter into a marriage. Everyone has problems. It's about working on those problems as a couple, coming out on top, or you don't. For this couple, it seems like they didn't. Again, we know that they got married, but it seems like with what we do know and where Natalie currently is, it just didn't work out in their favor. I want to bring up a few callers really quick before we move on to the next couple. Again, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. And yeah, let's bring up, we have Tony, Kempire, and Brianna. Hi, Kempire.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Adam. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Tony.
Hey, I'm ready now.
Okay. All right. So, of course, I have to start with ladies first. Kempire, hope you understand.
Of course.
I just want to start with the ladies first, and I'm going to start with Brianna because I brought Brianna up first, and then we'll go Tony, then Kempire. Do you want to talk about Mike and Natalie first, or Brandon and Yulia?
God, I mean, where do we even start? Such a shit show on each count. I mean,
it really is such a shit show. I mean, honestly, I think Mike and Natalie would be the bigger shit show. So
yeah, Mike and Natalie. Okay, I came into this season thinking that Mike was like the innocent one with the cat, and was like, oh, poor Mike. We're going to be sympathetic towards him. And now I just am infuriated by him. I mean, I can't believe the gall that he has. You could just tell on that conversation with the lawyer that he was expecting the lawyer to agree with him and be like, oh, like they're not going to come knock down my door, right? And it's like, dude, why are you like trying to keep here illegally? Like, he's so selfish. He doesn't give 2 shits about like what's going to happen to her because it doesn't affect him.
Well, and also, do you think that a lawyer is going to, I think this is the proper way of saying this. Somebody can totally cut me off and correct me. I don't mind. But I think, wouldn't that the lawyer be incriminating herself if she gave that sort of legal counsel over FaceTime, knowing that it's being recorded right, and then put on TLC? Right.
I mean, it just seems like it wouldn't. It was just really like, and then, like you said, I mean, Natalie was trying to, have a conversation with him and be like, look, like, if you want to get me a ticket back, that's fine, but we need to figure something else out. And he's just like, oh, yeah, well, I don't know yet. I don't know.
He's in limbo. Tony, I see you sipping on your water, ready to go. Do you have an opinion here?
It's actually like an energy thing on BCAA. Anyways, I just want to say a quick thing is, hey, Kempire, I've been checking out your page. So, hey.
Oh, thank you.
But also I wanted to say about Mike and Natalie. Okay, so here's the thing. When Natalie first dogged out Mike on the previous season, I hated her. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, she's wicked. So if I'm thinking this, Mike, who's in that situation, is probably like, you know what? All right. Oh, okay. So you're shaming me now. All right. I got something for you. So maybe he was planning something like this all along.
Like a revenge.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I wondered that too.
Yeah, but you're a man. I mean, be a man. At the end of the day, you're playing with somebody's emotions, but like
he might be a man boy.
Men are the worst. I'm telling you. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys.
I'm not arguing.
You know why I say that? Okay. You know what?
Go ahead. Let us have it.
The guy I talked to is he's very vindictive. Guys are vindictive. They would want to get you back. And I feel like he pondered on that. Like, literally, she shamed him on international TV.
Right.
Where everybody saw that. And, we all thought he was a good guy. And then come to find out, we're seeing the truth of Mike and who Mike really is. So this is probably who he was all along. We just didn't see it.
There are a lot of people, though, who technically thought, well, maybe in his heart, he thought by bringing her over, something would have been different. Maybe she would have liked America. But also, if it didn't work out, he still gets that $25,000 that TLC can pay him in order to pay off his debt. So they thought that there might have been that maybe ulterior motive. But
so the money came in with the revenge. Because remember, he didn't have the money before. And all of a sudden, he was buying at the beginning of the season, this season, he was like paying off things or what have you. I don't know if it was on the show or I heard it through blogs. I can't remember which way I heard it. It was through the show. So he's like, hold on, I got money from the show last season. Let me do something this season.
I mean, that's why a lot of people come back, technically. Kempire, can you weigh in on this?
I was really believing this storyline last week, but after watching this episode, I was sort of like, okay, this just seems too produced. It just seems unbelievable. And I think they want us to have mixed emotions about Natalie and now mixed emotions about Mike. So we keep watching. But at the end of this episode, I'm just not interested in waiting another week to watch Mike and Natalie hem and haw about getting married when we already know they've gotten married and now they're separated allegedly.
Yeah, it's so convoluted now that it's like hard to even like care really, you know? I mean, it's just at a point where it's just like, really? Like,
we feel like we're getting whiplash.
Yeah.
We're getting bounced around.
Literally.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So would you guys rather just not knowing what is actually going on in reality now? Like, you know how we know that they got married and then they're not together anymore? Watching the show, like how it used to be. Like, would you just rather just watch a show and just not know what is going on now, so we don't think like this? Like, we're just like, why even bother watching the show?
Biased opinion on it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do like wish that I could just do that and like tune out and like just completely, you know, tune in for the couple hours a week that it is and not go on social media and not go on Reddit, not like, you know, research everything. But I don't know. I mean,
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think like, especially us anyone who's doing the videos on it or blogging about it, whatever the case is, of course we want to know, but it's like, when I watch the first episode of The Bachelor, I go straight to Reality Steve and I'm like, okay, this chick won, so great, I'm not watching anymore. But it kind of sucks to ruin it for yourselves, but the castmates, I guess it's better for the castmates if somebody else ruins it for them, like someone who went out and got the public information that they ended up having a marriage certificate. It's better that than someone like Devin and Jihoon, Devin coming out and totally trashing the network and saying, this was pre-produced, they made me do this, I wasn't comfortable with it. And now TLC, Discovery Plus, they're like, okay, well, bye. You're never getting a paycheck from us again. So
they're both screwed over.
Yeah, you would never, I would never do that. I would just keep my mouth shut, collect my paychecks and ride this out as long as I can.
But TLC has to know better by now that, I mean, marriage licenses are public. I mean, they have to figure out a way to like not try and pull the wool over our eyes, so to say, so often, because we're becoming too privy to all of the information, you know?
I think it was one of our other callers, Miriam. Oh, sorry, Kempire. I was just going to say really quick. I think it was one of our other callers, Miriam, who said, and she made a great point, they just need to pump out the content faster. That way we're not so ahead of what's actually going to happen. But sorry, Kempire, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I think TLC doesn't care. I don't think the 90 Day Fiancé, production cares because they're still getting the ratings. Even with all of this information out there, with all these blogs, it's a huge, huge franchise for them. And despite all these leaks, they're still doing very well. Even in the pandemic, the ratings are still up. So I don't think it's affecting them that much, and they really don't care. It's sort of like it helps promote them without having to pay for promotion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I also feel like the way that they're kind of setting up, I guess, these new shows on Discovery Plus where we can go and follow the couples even more in depth. I think that's their way of trying to keep ahead of bloggers and YouTubers and trying to take control over the narrative and put out that information first before anybody else leaks it. And really, I think it's brilliant. A lot of people find it to be annoying because people are like, I don't want to pay for Discovery Plus. I don't want to sit down and watch more hours and hours and hours of footage of just one couple. But it makes
people are.
Hey, I love having watch footage. I'm
one of those people.
I'm the bootleg girl. So,
hey, listen, my Discovery. Well, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Okay.
I have Verizon Unlimited, so I get Discovery Plus for free.
Me too, because for people that are watching and that want to try out Discovery Plus, depending on your cell phone service provider, you can get 6 months to a year free. Yeah. And then you pay, afterwards. So,
wait a minute. I don't even think I could get it. I'm in Canada.
Oh, no, you can't. It's not available there yet.
I have to go.
What shit is that?
That's bullshit.
I have to go.
Tony, stop telling everyone you bootleg.
All right.
Listen,
Well,
what are they gonna do to me?
right, Tony, they're not going to find you. Just change your name on it. All right.
Oh crap! Yeah, I'd have to do that.
And you just said you're from Canada, but it's okay. Nobody can follow your IP address. All right. No, I want to move forward to the next couple really quick because this couple was kind of interesting to me this episode too. And we can skip past Brandon and Yulia. We know, I mean, the most fascinating part about this whole episode for them was the fact that we found out that she pronounces her name Yulia, but they still got married. The parents are still a little cuckoo. It is what it is. They made it work.
They were more normal in this episode.
Yeah, they were more normal. And it was, I'm constantly seeing a sweeter side of her where when we first started the season, the parents and Brandon on the way to the airport to go pick her up, they really made her sound like she was going to be this loose cannon that flies off the handles. And she wasn't the loose cannon.
Like, what's that about?
Yeah, it was more the parents, but it's got to be interesting for her watching back and seeing how they were talking about her. I'm sure that leaves her with some residual feelings thinking like, oh shit, this is how you're talking about me?
But then again, she also sees the behind the scenes and how she's portrayed based on what she said. So she probably also gets it on the other side. Like, oh, I get what they're doing. So she's probably not that mad at them.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, going to Vegas, we have Yara and Jovi, and Yara and Jovi are about to get married. Thank God Jovi stayed inside. We find out that he stayed inside the hotel room. They ordered room service, and he finally started giving the proper attention to Yara. I have to say, watching last episode and then watching this episode, well, last few episodes, it kind of feels like the friends were trying to sabotage this whole relationship, but they also don't know that there is a baby on the way. And it's kind of annoying that everyone in Jovi's life is constantly putting in Yara's ear, I can't believe he's getting married. This isn't the Jovi that we know. We know wild Jovi. Down to the dad, the mom and dad, who were like, this is crazy to me. We never thought that he would settle down. This woman is pregnant. You know she's pregnant. The friends don't know that she's pregnant, but like, back off a little bit.
And even Jovi had to say, like, yeah, I'm going to get married to her. Like, you know, you can let up. Like, yes, I'm always going to answer yes. Like, 24 hours before, I'm getting my tux fitted. Like, let's move on from that.
Yeah, and I mean, even though he's doing everything last minute, which I also have to kind of, I'm one of those people. Jason, my fiance, is like really organized, and if that ever happened, then I'm sure it would be super structured. Whereas I would be like Jovi, who'd be like, I need a tux the day before. But for Yara and Jovi is still kind of like that man child. When he's sitting there trying to pick out the rings, he's like, well, I wasn't expecting to spend $1,200 on a ring. And I know in his mind, he's thinking, I'm paying for this K-1 visa process. I'm paying for the flights back and forth when she wants to go to the Ukraine, go back, and she wants to bring the baby back. I'm going to be paying for her while I'm away at work. He's thinking of all these numbers adding up, but I'm glad that his mom was there to sort of be like, this is something that she's supposed to be wearing for the rest of her life. So this is still symbolic to something. Don't just be a cheap ass man.
Luckily, he didn't push back too hard and was like, okay, you can have whatever you'd like. I mean, I thought it was going to be more of a scene than that, but like, luckily his mom was there.
And I bet you when they do get married, I bet you because Yara's a beautiful woman. I bet you she's going to blow them away. Now, they don't like her personality. Obviously, we see that the friends think that she's a little cold, but if I were her, I would think the friends are kind of a bunch of asses, just to be fair. One's out here exposing that he's hooked up with every single stripper. The other one's sending him up to the top of the strip club with another stripper. Like, they're constantly testing this relationship. If I were Yara, I mean, I would never tell the person that I'm with who you can and can't be friends with, but I wouldn't particularly favor this group of friends.
I think his friends are better than he is, though.
Sorry. I would, if I feel like it's in her best interest to just tell these like 4 or 5 friends that she's pregnant. I mean, I get that she doesn't want to because of the miscarriage and, you know, she's in her first trimester. I get all that, but it's only like a couple people. And I feel like it could really like benefit her if she just lets them know, because then they're like, okay, well, that makes sense why you're drinking water at a casino.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, that makes sense. But also I think in her way, because she's still she has that Eastern European personality. She's very straightforward. She's a straight shooter. And I think that in her mind, she's like, I don't have to tell you shit. I'll just navigate my life and do whatever I want. Why do I need to explain this to you? And I think that's her perspective on it. And I don't totally disagree. They shouldn't really constantly be testing her. But again, this is the friend group that he has. This is where he comes from. I guess this is what she signed up for.
And really. She also had a miscarriage, you know, not too long ago. So it makes sense why she's a little hesitant. She didn't even want to tell the parents, which I get.
Right. But then she didn't want the parents to think that she was being a brat because she wasn't drinking and she wasn't having fun at this engagement party. So
She did sip on some champagne though.
I saw that, but
Did she?
I talked to a few people in my family about it, and I was like, can you drink wine when you're pregnant? And one of my siblings was like, hell yeah, I was drinking box wine when I was pregnant. And I was like, that's why my cousin is like that. If you're drinking box wine, you at least get the experience.
I've heard doctors say you can, but in moderation, of course. You're not like getting
I'm
drunk.
pretty sure, like in Irish culture, they drink like a Guinness a day or something like that.
When they're pregnant?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay.
I recommend it. I'm not recommending that, but
Okay, well, we know moving forward, again, this is another one that's sort of been ruined for us only because we know that they're going to get married. We know that they had the baby, and we also know that they have signed on to participate in 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. So we will be getting them back and seeing what life is like after they've had the baby, which might be an interesting new perspective. Maybe the friends might let off a little bit or let up, however you say that. Maybe they might be more supportive, but we're just going to have to wait and see. There's one relationship though on here that I didn't really support at all, even though I love this woman on the show. I just feel like she's a hopeless romantic and she's just trying to get it right after 4 times of getting it wrong. Poor Rebecca and ZIED. Who wants to take this one away?
Poor.
I mean,
This is you.
poor Rebecca. Poor Rebecca. Like this, I don't know, especially after having one of our guests on, Miriam, who is also of Muslim faith. Like she knows that in her culture that, especially ZIED's culture, that it's super important to have a baby, raise a family, and that's expected of him. But Rebecca keeps asking him along the way, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you're okay not having kids? Are you sure this is going to be all right? You're not going to surprise me in 10 years and be like, you know what? I want to be a father. And he's like, yes, Rebecca. Yes, Rebecca. I love you. Okay. And
Who
then
knows what they want in the next 10 years, though?
yeah, I mean,
In 10 years, you could want a kid.
Adam.
You might not want one now.
Adam.
Yes.
Adam. Just a quick thing. I think Miriam, not paid by Monique, I think she had wanted the link. I don't know if she got it. I had told her to scroll back up, but I'm not too sure.
I just dropped it, Miriam.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. Sometimes I have to look at this and then my screen's here and then I get comments and they're like, stop looking at your computer. I'm like,
Oh, no worries. I saw it scrolling and so I sent a message.
Adam's like, I have to be moderator too.
Yeah. No, somebody said ZIED needed some fashion advice. That suit. No, I mean, listen, it's okay.
He didn't look as bad as I thought he was going to look based on what he was saying. He looked okay, but did you see the rest of the wedding party?
what was his jeans? I mean, she was getting walked down the aisle
And Miriam made her name mad at Rebecca. I'll bring her up in 2 seconds.
like I've been trying to be sympathetic towards Rebecca, and like I get her, but I feel like she's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy because she's just so uptight and so wound tightly, and she's just like taking it all out on ZIED. And I get half of it, but I feel like half of it's kind of like misdirected, and I feel like in the long run, if she keeps doing this, it'll probably push him away.
Well, and not just to jump back into this wedding party, I thought it was kind of almost annoying. And I don't know if TLC made them do it or if the family just wanted to have their videos, but watching the guys like run around them in circles with the camera like this, I'm like, I would be like, get the hell out of my face while I'm trying to get married. You know, there's a camera crew right here. There are literally 2 to 3, maybe even 4 cameras. There's production A, production B, like the crew is here. Get that camera phone out of my face and just participate in the wedding. But
one just wanted their own footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I would see like professional photographers or camera video people, and I'm like, no. I know what I like. I know what I want to see for later. I'm gonna take my own.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm that person.
Adam's watching Mad.
I mean, I was like, Mike and Natalie really got me pissed off, so they set a bad tone for the rest of the episode for me. But,
I can't believe it started out with them. Like,
yeah, exactly. You know, but also Rebecca and ZIED, I think my favorite person out of this whole sort of setup, their whole side of the storyline would be her daughter's boyfriend, who's like, I really hope that he doesn't mess up. And I'm like, dude, this guy is like on standby, ready to whoop ass. And if I were you, I would just ZIED. I would just be really careful. I would walk on eggshells, friend. And we'll see what happens.
I think ZIED's going to be fine. I think in this episode, it was a lot more pleasant in comparison to what we've been watching for the last few episodes.
Definitely.
I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I mean, the fashion across the board was questionable. So that kind of made everything else seem even with the beautiful, horse and carriage ride. I was like, oh, this is going to be beautiful. And then you see what everyone has on, what ZIED has on. Her wedding dress couldn't fit her, unfortunately. Look, I understand. She was having issues. The corset over the top of it. I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. But they got married.
They got married. And they got married in a global pandemic. I mean, just to be fair, I literally, and this is my own thing, but I literally wear all black all the time. And Jason is on my ass about this. And he's like, we need to go shopping. We need to go shopping. And I'm like, I'm not going shopping somewhere where I can't go into a fitting room and try it on. And then you can't return. Like, I'm not doing that. So
aren't you in Florida? I thought the rules don't apply.
No, well, exactly. Listen, to an extent, but we still don't have fitting rooms and we still don't have that. I mean, in some stores, maybe you do, but the stores that I've been going into, they won't let us in the fitting rooms. They're completely locked off and they're like, no, you buy it, you don't. And for some people that's hard, especially I think sometimes a woman, maybe even like Rebecca, who she's a full-figured woman. So she's like, I want to make sure things fit me the right way. And then she has to go buy her dress online. This poor woman. I'm going to bring up Miriam. Or mad at Rebecca. Hi, Miriam.
Oh my God, I can't.
She's cracking herself up over here.
Well, if my name would be too long to add Natalie to, at Rebecca and Natalie and Mike. He's young. Maybe now, if I want to give ZIED the benefit of the doubt, maybe now he doesn't want kids, but eventually he will. People grow apart. People grow. This is just like, this is not going to work. It's not. And she pretends not to know. This is not her first time in the rodeo. She's just doing what she needs to do to be on the show. ZIED is doing just what he needs to be legal in the United States. You know what? I think it's an agreement between both of them. To be honest, I don't feel like that love. There's no connection. Sometimes when you see them holding hands, I don't see that in the show anymore. With the only two that showed a little bit of affection, thank God, was Yulia and at the wedding when
Brandon.
he read the vows in Russian. That was so sweet. That was so sweet. I want to see more of that in the show so that we still have faith that some of the couples are true couples.
Tariq and Hazel seem to have kind of a good affection in their wedding too. I thought that was a sweet ceremony.
I was going to say that too, but it seems like, and this could just be cultural differences. I'm not sure, but I'm still questioning Hazel on what she actually wants in the end of this. Does she want to be with a woman? Does she want better opportunities for her son? Which all of these things are not about. Nothing here is bad, but it just seems like he's a little bit more emotional, and he could just be more of an emotional guy. I'm a super emotional person, so it's like maybe he just got with someone who doesn't show it the same way. But watching her, she's always looking at him off to the side, like, I don't know what this man is saying, or whatever, dude. Do you? Because after a few years, I'm gone.
Did you catch how he tried to shut her down when she was saying, "Now I can have a girlfriend, and there won't be a problem," and he shut her down in the confessional, saying, "Okay, we don't need to talk about this anymore."
Yeah,
that was really telling.
And also, at this point, like, that is such a diluted thought. Like, it's delusional. Your thought process of thinking, okay, well, we have a ring on it, so now if we invite a woman in, it's going to be great.
Yeah, maybe he made her understand that this is how it's going to be. It's two. It takes two to tango. Like, if they're not, maybe he made her believe. Well, or more.
I agree with you totally, but I feel like Hazel isn't communicating to Tariq like exactly what she wants. Like, she's not like laying the ground rules out and like, defining exactly what she wants out of it. It seems like she wants a girlfriend that isn't involved with him, and it seems like he thinks they're going to be in a throuple. So it's just like, I think they're both kind of confused.
I think that's exactly what's going on, and I think that at the end of the day, he just wants to make sure that he is the number one priority in her life. But also, I think it's
also
very, yeah, well, yeah, right. The number one priority. But I think it's a little naive to think and again, I have a lot of friends, especially back in LA, who are either married and they're entertaining these open relationships. And when you start off as a twosome, you invite this one person, then you guys become a threesome, and then one of the twosome falls for the onesome, and then your ass is left out in the dark because they get feelings, and that's a natural thing. You connect with somebody on a different level, especially if they invite a woman into the relationship and the woman understands Hazel better. She's more emotionally connected. This could be bad for them. And I'm not saying polygamy or polyamorous relationships are bad, but I just
They are
think that
bad.
you really have to know what you're getting yourself into. And they failed the first time. So
They are bad, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I agree with Adam. I don't think they're necessarily bad, but I think also this is their first time really cohabitating with each other for a long period of time. Get to know each other, lay out that foundation before you start implementing other people into it.
Right. She seems so rushed about it, and that's what's confusing. And like you were saying, Adam, it's kind of confusing to see what her intentions are. Like, what is she really here for? Does she is like her main goal to get a girlfriend? It seems like kind of a sister wife. Is it a green card? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, that's her goal. This is what is obvious to me, at least. Her goal.
Oh, you're muted. Mad at Rebecca, you have been silenced on here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I think she thinks like getting married to Tyler is what will get what she really wants at the end. Because she can do that with her parents and her back in her country. She can do this in America. And to stay here, she needs to be married to him.
No,
That's what she thinks.
I agree. Andy said, I hate that Tariq and Hazel are making people confuse bisexuality with polyamorous relationships. It's not the same thing. I actually don't know. I mean, I'm curious if you guys think that is the case, because I think it's just identifying the fact that she is a bisexual woman, which obviously invites the idea of a polyamorous relationship if they want to add another party, right? Or is this storyline confusing the two?
I don't think it's confusing the two. I think it is the two.
Guys,
I think it's. I mean, I
gotta go. I will listen.
Bye, Matt and Rebecca.
Bye.
All right.
I feel like he was confusing the two in when they first did the introduction package. I feel like he was kind of just the way he was talking about it was like, oh, we're gonna have this hot relationship with another girl, and I don't know. I think maybe I'm not remembering correctly exactly what he said, but it just kind of left like an interesting taste in my mouth. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was watching something in the middle of the night, and my Hulu came on, and it was an old episode of 90 Day Fiancé, and it happened to be 90 Day Live. And it was an episode with Dean, his brother, on it. Right. And this was the first season that him and Hazel were on. And Dean was like, oh, I didn't really like Hazel at first because I didn't think that she could keep up with Tariq. And Michelle Collins was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, well, he's a guy that likes multiple women. But then I realized that Hazel's bisexual, so I think maybe she can. And so I kind of I took pause of that, and I was like, oh, so was this his idea or was this her idea?
Okay. We talked about that before on here, Adam, because based on the last couple of episodes, and also based on what we've discovered on Discovery Plus, this video is not sponsored by them, but it should be though. But based on what we're seeing behind the scenes, it does seem like it's Tariq's idea and not Hazel. And Hazel's just sort of coming along for the ride.
Yeah.
Especially because he's kind of the one being the American and her wanting to come over here and provide a better life. It's kind of like the ball is really up into the point that they got married. The ball was really in his court. He kind of the same way that Mike is treating Natalie. He had that same leeway too. He could have up and put her on a plane back to the Philippines any moment between those 90 days. And if that's something that he wanted, yeah, maybe that was something that she's like, okay, well, I've always been curious. So maybe this is something that we should do.
Was it Tariq's idea for the last time with Minty? Was it his idea?
I think he, right?
Yeah. Well, Kempar, do you know?
Yeah, it was his idea because he knew Minty before Hazel. And supposedly he stayed in contact with Minty during this time. He's been in contact with her. That's why she was crying on 90 Day Bears All, because she feels like both of them are playing her.
That was a messed up conversation on 90 Bears All. That was like,
well, I'm gonna go watch that.
This goes back to why a lot of times these three-way relationships, they really don't work. But I'm not just saying it's the three-way relationships, and this was an easy segue, but it's not just those relationships that don't work, because we're watching Andrew and Amira, and I feel like I'm watching a man with two personalities, one that we're seeing on screen and one that we're obviously missing here. Oh. And then this I'm going to say poor woman, I think she's just a hopeless romantic. I think that she really dodged a bullet here, a big bullet, but watching the preview for next week's episode and his mom being like, how do we know that she was getting anxious, or how do we know? I'm like, woman.
Oh, stay out of your son's relationship.
Stay out of the bit. Like, do you know what this girl has been through? And you're going to sit here. And of course, I mean, if I do something wrong, my mom's going to take my side all day, and it doesn't make it right. And that's obviously what she's doing here. But it's like, this person has already been through so much. What are you talking about?
Amira's been in a Mexican prison and then a Serbian riot.
Right.
Like, with your son.
That's what movies are made of.
Yeah, who else? I mean, who else? Honestly, ask an American woman. Go ask any. Let's line them up. Let's line up all of the American women and ask who would be willing to sit in a Mexican prison for 3 days and then go through Serbian riots for 14 days. Who would be willing to do that to marry Andrew? I would love to see one person who can pass a medical evaluation, a mental medical evaluation, who would say yes.
That's the best part, Adam.
It's like, what do you see in him? Like, up until the very end, she was like, I was really excited to marry Andrew. I'm like, why?
Why?
For what purpose? Like, what?
I think there's a really gentle, loving side of him that's very like showers and compliments. You're beautiful. I love. You can see there's a very soft side, but then again, from hearing what we hear from her, and I think from all of us just watching it and kind of picking apart the show a little bit, I think that there's a little bit of a darker side that we don't get to see. And that scares her. And I don't blame her. But at least it's better than a delusional side, because we can totally jump on Stephanie and Ryan and her being the piece up in the next week's episode and whatever the hell else is going on. She's literally ripping up one K1 visa for another K1 visa process. And before she does, she wants to talk to, Harris. Harris's baby mama wants to talk to her and know if she's okay with him coming to the United States. She's really vetting this out.
Emma's going to be okay with it. Look, Emma's ready for him to come to the United States, make a good living, and send money back for her and the kids.
I know, right?
Yeah, she's like, I don't want you. Go.
I have a question.
You would have a problem.
I keep hearing this across the board. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to ask you like a general question, because the way that Adam literally just broke it all down, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is good. And I'm like, this sounds like an amazing season. And a lot of people are like, oh no, it's not a good season. I'm like, did you not hear what Adam just said? All of that is like, what? Like, it's entertaining, it's engaging. It's like, I love it.
Pretty juicy. I mean,
and I've been watching this from day one. Like day 8, I've been that day 8. Like when nobody even knew about 90 days, I was that girl. And this season, I'm like, oh, this is good.
No, I mean, I honestly, even though she has her own level of like, coo-hoo, Stephanie, I kind of wish that she wouldn't have Devined herself out and came out and spoken against production, because she did. She ripped production apart, which means I doubt we will get her on future seasons. But I wish she wouldn't have, because I would like to see how the rest of this was going to play out, if she did in fact, or if she does in fact end up bringing him over here, and seeing how she introduces this man who is used to what he said, living in the jungle, this jungle-like lifestyle. He makes $100 American a week, I think he said, over there, and he's just used to a totally different life. Bringing him over and introducing him into Michigan life, I think that would be like
total culture shock. Yeah,
I don't think it's over, because we also they let baby Lisa go. What was it, last year? But now I'm hearing that she might be coming back to 90 Day,
which is crazy to me, because they let her go for a very good reason. They let her go. They let her go for a very good reason. It wasn't talking about production. It was something that was so ignorant and uncalled for that I can't even believe that she is.
Like I can't believe that they would even entertain that idea.
No, they shouldn't. I think that, listen, you get one shot, you put yourself on this public platform, you don't use it respectfully, you think that you can just speak out of the left side of your mouth and say whatever you want, and millions of people are watching across the board. You don't know how that triggers people. You don't know how it affects or hurts people. If you can't handle the responsibility of being on that public platform, you don't deserve it. She doesn't deserve the paycheck that comes with it, the notoriety, the money that she makes from the interviews. Because mind you, I tried getting, after talking to her last boyfriend after Soulja Boy, who Soulja Boy wanted $1,000 from me, but I talked to her manager. I don't know who this guy is. I don't remember his name anymore, but he was even telling me, yeah, like we command money for these baby girl Lisa interviews. And I'm like, Angela Deem doesn't even ask for money for her interviews. I would 10 times like way rather listen to her than baby girl Lisa, and the only reason I compare the two is because they're both very abrasive and like in your face. They don't care. I mean, Angela is literally the Jerry Springer show, and she's been on the Jerry Springer show. So, you know, she
has a lot of self-awareness, and she knows what she's doing. Like, she knows how to produce the show. She knows like where to draw the line. She knows her limits a little bit.
I mean, I don't know though, because I was watching back, there was on somebody's Instagram the other day, just old clips of her, and she's like running through the reunion stage, and she's like, I'm the classiest white trash you'll ever meet. And then she's like about
she owns it. She owns it all. And it's just so good.
But then she gets in Rebecca's face and she's pointing in her face like, I'll slap you upside the head. And I'm like, oh my God.
And there's those little reports about her beating the shit out of her.
She has that Jerry Springer background. She has that Jerry Springer. So she,
right.
Somebody said, sorry, it was the Maury show.
Oh, was it Maury?
Oh, you got me saying Jerry too?
That's a big difference.
Up and Adam, baby goat Lisa is a vulgar woman and she shouldn't be brought back. Same with Usman, local talent boy. Well, technically,
agree, Andrea. Agree.
Well, Usman technically never really did anything to get himself fired. He wasn't fired. She was fired. But unfortunately, since they signed on as a pack, everybody just thought, okay, well, if she's out of the picture, he would be out of the picture unless he did find, of course, another American woman, or if there was a way we could see him in any other capacity. But we've seen him. He's back on. Wasn't he on 90 Day Bears All?
Yes.
This really odd song with like a lyric, like lyric breakdown was just really bizarre. But he's not entertaining to me. Like, there's nothing compelling about Usman to me.
Well, I find him to be a little entertaining when he's like, I'll be there for you. And he starts singing and he's just like, yeah, this is my girl, baby girl, Lisa. And then he brings her around his friends and they're just all like, dude, what are you doing?
I mean, that was entertaining for sure. I just can't see a second season with like a different person, really.
No, I get that, because she really was the one who, she made that storyline interesting with how vulgar and how sort of aggressive she was. And some of her comments like, oh yeah, tonight we're going to do it without a condom and this and that. I'm like, what is this woman thinking? Like this is like common knowledge. Okay.
She's not going to get pregnant. So
she's not going to get pregnant, but you don't know if you might catch something. You don't know who this man, you just met this man.
She's at the end of her life. She's okay.
That's terrible.
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
You mean that she's on the latter half? She's over the hill. That's what Kempire means. She's past 50. She's over the hill.
Yep, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the shade? Both Kempire and Adam, y'all need the shade thing. The shady.
Oh, the shade fan. Uh-oh, the mirror's coming out. That's his shade thing right
This
there.
does make me turn into a shady bitch. I'm not going to lie. But not today. I can't bring her out. I do want to say moving forward, though, real quick, and so we can wrap this up. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I just want to go around the panel and ask what we're looking forward to most next week, if anything at all. But I hope you guys choose something instead of saying none of the above. I'm going to start with you, Tony.
Is it the season finale?
I think so.
I think it is.
It better be.
We don't really have much left to wrap up.
You know what it is? I want to see the reunion like after the show. Like I want to see like where everybody's at.
Are they going to be doing the reunion?
Yeah, I'm sure
they already filmed it.
They already filmed it?
Did they? Was it virtual?
No, I believe they all flew out to Los Angeles.
Oh my God!
Glad to hear that.
Okay.
I'm sure some of it will be virtual because
Well, yeah, I'm sure that some of the people will be like, if they bring in Ryan and Harris, I'm sure that would be virtual, obviously, because they're not going to be in the United States and a few others. But okay. Brianna, what are you looking forward to most?
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to like all of them in a little sense, but I guess I'm gonna have to say Mike and Natalie just because I want to see like how these steps play out and how they get down the aisle.
Yeah, especially after all of this. Can I have the ring back? Irregardless, can I have a hut? What? No. Irregardless, you better take your ass down the driveway before I. You know what I mean? Like, get away from that.
Like, I don't know how they got there, but like, I'm curious to see how they're gonna try and play that out.
Okay. Kempire?
I am so over Mike and Natalie's storyline. I thought we would have gotten something in this episode to sort of like finalize everything. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to them next week. I am looking forward to Andrew and Amira just to see the shade from the mother and see. I like seeing the dark side. I think he's a villain, Andrew. So I want to see how that all plays out. But one thing I will say, when I was watching this episode, I thought of you, Adam, and I was like, Adam, all these people are getting married. I wonder if this is inspiring him to get married. Answer?
Yes, a bunch of chaotic, ridiculous couples on TLC's 90 Day definitely inspires me to go tie the knot. That
you can get like a warm feeling inside.
Other outfits, you know?
Yes, watching Mike and Natalie want to rip each other's throats out. Watching Yulia about to just shove her vows up Brandon's, you know what? Watching Tariq and Hazel try to figure out now that they're married if they're going to invite other people in, and Andrew and his dark side, Colty 2.0, plus Stephanie's cuckoo behind, and Yara and Jovi, who are now kind of figuring it out after he got her pregnant. Yes, this is the first thing that makes me want to get married.
Well,
yes.
Adam, you're on fire today. I'm loving it. Loving it.
You made me bring out the mirror. That's what it is. It's just the mirror. No, but all right.
Really quickly, did you guys hear that Andrew got interviewed by Eric from Eric and Lita? Did you guys hear that there was like some video of Eric interviewing Andrew?
Eric would be the last person I would want to watch interview anyone.
I mean, I can't even like. Nothing.
I would rather watch Lita interview. She's the sassy one. She's the one who's educated, has it together. I would rather watch her do the interview than Eric. Eric is just kind of like
than watch Eric. He's terrible. He's
like Mike and Natalie's Mike. He's just very like, I'm there. I'm defeated. It's okay. This is my life. It's here. Like, if you don't like it, I understand. I mean, honestly, and then after he kicked his daughter out and did everything that Lita asked for, even though his daughter, like, you're grown, it's time to go on. But the way that he handled that business, no, I was not a fan of Eric and Lita. No, and I think for me moving forward, I would probably be the most invested, especially because, like Kempire said, I'm over the Mike and Natalie storyline. I still want to see the steps that it takes. Like, how did we go from 0 to 60 back to 0? Now we're tying the knot in 24 hours. I would like to see how those steps play out. But I'm really just most interested in Stephanie's conversation with Harris's baby mama. Why I didn't see them display her name, Kempire. You said her name.
Emma.
I don't want to keep calling her. I don't want to
baby mama.
Call her baby mama. So I want to see Stephanie's conversation with Emma and see how that plays out. But again, I totally agree with you guys. I think that she's going to be like, yeah, take his ass and have him send me some money. It is good. I will take care of the kid. I will find my own man and he will send back a lot of money. I won't ever have to work again because the money goes a lot further here. Yeah, great. Works for me.
Are we going to get anything from Jovi and Yara next week? I feel like
we're going to get the wedding. To walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to add, Adam, in regards to Jovi and Yara, on 90 Day Bears All, they wired him up to a lie detector test this week. And we found out that he has slept with a stripper in the past. But they didn't ask him about the whole champagne room situation in the bachelor party. Because they didn't. They just confirmed that he slept with a stripper in the past, that he's had threesomes in the past.
They would have got him killed. She would castrate him if she finds that out after they're having. No, I feel like that's TLC trying to be respectful. No, like, okay, there's a baby here. Let's not totally just ruin this relationship. We won't even touch the champagne room. Because you might see him sitting there hooked up to a lie detector or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see like a right hook coming out from this side of the screen just going like, I don't know if I would play with that. Especially her. She seems like she could pop off. So
she's scary. I thought it was really cool to see Chelsea and Ymir on Bears All from season 2.
Which ones?
Chelsea and Ymir. He was like the Nicaraguan pop star, and she's like they lived in like Michigan or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to go back and watch it.
They haven't been on the show since, and they just they brought them on, and they were like, it's been years, and was
I
interesting.
mean, if we keep bringing back Colt and Debbie, we can bring back some other people at this
Right.
point, just to be fair.
Cole and Debbie, though, are a lot more interesting than.
Well, and now
They're a dynamic duo.
Debbie's dating, so who knows? They're trying to get their
What?
spin off. Yes.
Sorry.
Yep. Debbie is dating.
I need to just
Good
watch
for her.
these things not live. What?
My gosh. Well, guys, if you haven't already, again, go ahead, smash that like button. I want to go around the room and just say our goodbyes. If there's anywhere we can find you, if you have another platform that you'd like to promote, you're more than welcome. Tony, I don't know if you want to be found in Canada or not, especially with you making your bootleg
You can
comments about
find me.
Discovery Plus, but
You
if
can
you want us to find you, where can we find you?
You can find me. Everything is at 10fit. That's my Instagram handle. I actually started a YouTube channel, but I'm just in the beginning. So
Nice.
and so
You gotta
obviously
start somewhere.
go on there.
I said you have to start somewhere, so that's awesome. At least we know where we can go find you.
Yeah, most likely I'm on Instagram. I talk to a lot of people on Instagram. So at 10fit on Instagram.
All right. Brianna?
You can find me at chronically_Brianna, that's Brianna with one N, on Instagram. And I also just started a YouTube channel too. That's also chronically Brianna, just kind of across the board. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Nice. And then Kempire.
Everything is the Kempire, and everyone should check out my interview with Adam on Kempire Radio on all podcast platforms.
Such a fun interview. We literally
Wait.
talked about everything.
I meant to ask you about that. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, just a quick thing.
Oh.
So you said it's the podcast that you and Adam had discussed, because I've been trying to figure out where it was.
Oh, it's Kempire Radio.
Kempire. Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Well, it will be eventually. The video version will be available on my YouTube. I have two YouTube channels, Kempire Daily and Kempire Radio.
But it's on podcast.
It's on, yeah. So if you go right now, the audio version is available on all podcast platforms.
And Kempire has me choking up. So great. You guys get to see when the video is released, you get to see me bawling like a baby. Can't wait. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me and talking about 90 Day. I can't wait. I hope you guys are back next week. I know that some people wanted to watch whatever was going on with, I thought, hold on, there was one other thing. I know we were talking about George Floyd, so I didn't mean to interrupt any George Floyd trials. And I know that somebody else in the chat put one other thing that there was on. So I missed it because it won't let me scroll all the way back up. But respectfully, I did not mean to put my stuff on at the same time. So I just wanted to put that out there. And thank you guys for watching and joining. And if you're not watching the George Floyd trials, then make sure you go watch. It's obviously very important. It's a big moment in history as we're trying to navigate what is going on in our world. With that, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys, go ahead, smash that like button. Thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you guys, and we'll see you so very soon. I'm also dropping a video today, another Erica Girardi video. The numbers have been released, how much they have, how much they owe, everything in between, and what exactly that means as far as potential jail time. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 bye.